Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Cap and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to build a zombie dropper base. Now they've kind of changed the way dropper bases work in this game over the different versions. There's a lot less ways to do it than there used to be. Used to, you could just dig a big hole in the ground, watch the zombies fall in, and it was pretty funny. Put some blade traps down there or spikes or whatever and just watch them just go to town in a giant pit. But it doesn't work that way anymore, so we have to get a little bit more creative. So I want to show you guys a way that I like to make one, and that's using kind of a trapdoor and a little bit of electricity. So first things first, we got to build ourselves our column that we're going to be on. And we're going to go 15 blocks tall on this one because anything under 13 blocks, when the zombies fall, they have a chance to go into destroy mode. So they hit the ground, they get a little bit pissy, and they walk up and they just want to start punching the closest wall. So if you go up higher than 13 blocks while you're building your bases, they're less likely to fall into destroy mode. It still happens, but not nearly as often. So while we're getting this one up here, if you guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you got a second, do me a favor, leave a like on the video. 1, 2, 3, 4... and 15. There we go. I made it 4 by 3 just because it makes it a little bit more even in the middle here. Now, I am doing this in creative mode because it's faster. You can absolutely do this in survival mode. I'm using concrete blocks, but you can just as easily place these kinds of building blocks on here. And then if you have wood, then cobble and cement, you can just upgrade this all the way. I'm just building it in creative to kind of show you guys what it looks like. So, I have a 4 by 3 tower up here, and also this is just the basics of how I'm doing it, just to kind of show how it works. You can build this however you want to. Make the base up here as enormous as you want to. Build your house up here. However you want to go about it. Using the cliffside over there or the top of a building. All of that will work as long as you're, higher than 15 blocks off the ground. Alright, so the next thing that we have to do is you have to go into your shapes menu here, which if you've never done that before, if you have a building block and you hold down R, you'll get this extra menu here. Go under shapes, and these are the favorites that you have here. Now, what you need to use is the pole. There's 3 different ones. You get centered and side-centered. The regular pole is the one that you want to use because when this one's out and about, zombies do not see this as a pathing option. So you want to do that again, right click, and you go into advanced, and then you're going to rotate it around so that it's even and level with the block right there, like that. But yeah, zombies do not actually see this as a pathable block. So this is what you want to use. That way you can make yourself a nice, cool little dropper base, and you don't have to worry about whether or not the zombies are just going to walk straight over to you. Now, there's lots of different ways to do this. I know, for instance, like Josh likes to make one using one of the Wedge 60, I think it is. And the zombies just don't see that as a walking path properly, and so they just walk right off, which is funny to watch, but I'm doing it my own way. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it like this, and put it out here just long enough to go that far. And the reason why is because what we're going to use is a powered door. Now, the one that I'm using is the iron garage door. I'm just using the green one. Use whatever color you want to, and it's the 3 by 2. So again, kind of like with everything else, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you can do advanced rotation. That way it's you're going to be able to try and get it right between these, but you need to get it so that it's flat. Just like that. Now, you're going to get the pink little indicator there to let you know that it doesn't have stability, but as long as the blocks are there, it'll actually work out. And so now that this door is here in between the blocks, the zombies will see this as a walkable path. And it makes your life a whole lot easier because we're going to hook this up so that when the zombies walk over it, they fall to their death, or they fall down and take some damage. I went a little bit too far on that one because I started at 1 block out. So you technically only need to have the pole blocks go out to the very end, but you can kind of design this however you want to. All right, so once you have that part of it there, what we're going to do next is you're going to rotate it back around like this and like that. Unfortunately, the way the game works here is you can't really get one right here in the middle like this while having the block over here go like that on the end here. So if you don't have the weird blocks sticking out on the end, then the little middle part right there won't work. It's unfortunate the way it works here, but because the door is not normally meant to be laying on its side, you kind of have to have this little wing off to the side. But again, since it's just a pole, the zombies don't even see that. Okay, well, once you actually have the rest of the pole blocks over here, I went ahead and just created myself a little platform. I did it like 3 blocks, 2 blocks out away from here. You can make it as far as you want to as long as the structural integrity is right. That's not that big a deal. So now what you want to do is you want to go back into your shape testing here, and you want to do pole side centered. And the reason why is because you actually want the zombies to be able to path on this one, because this is how they're going to get over there. So again, you want to have it on advanced rotation so that you can have it kind of like this. I like to put like right there in the center because it's even on both sides. Connects you back out to right over here like this. And that gives them a nice, easy little walking path. Now, you can, double up the durability underneath this if you want to. You can't really put this extra block right here because that block's there. But gives you a little bit extra durability just in case the zombies do dumb things. See, it won't fit right there because this block is blocking that little space where this is overlapping here. But by having these side blocks right here, the zombies will see this as pathing, but while they're running over here, they have a chance to fall off here too before they even get to the fall part of the trap. So this is what it's going to look like when you get completely done with it. Is it pretty? Yeah, it's okay. Is it the most beautiful looking base? No, but it's functional, and that's what we're going for. That is what we're going for. All right, so now what we need to do is build a place that's going to stop them. So we go back under shapes again, and I like to use the scaffolding ladder because it works really good, and it prevents cops from being able to spit at you. So again, you want to make sure you have it on advanced rotation so that you can get it sideways, like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack it up 3 blocks high, just to make sure the zombies don't accidentally climb over it. Now for this one, I'm only doing 1 layer in this one. You could double up if you wanted to have them back to back so that there were, there was 2 layers of here, but I'm not going to do that for this particular test. Now, realistically, you don't really have to worry about this particular block right here. The zombies don't see this as a walking path, so the chances of them actually falling or getting past that is kind of slim. But just to make it kind of look good, you can go back and you can do the pole again, and then you just kind of rotate around until it's level with the bars that you have set up over there. Like that, on both sides. Makes it a little bit easier, and that way it just kind of prevents them from being able to get to you. So that way it's nice and flush on this side, and it prevents them from being able to get around. So then you just rotate around again on this side like that. Again, that's the pole block, not the pole center to the pole side. That is the actual just the pole block itself. And again, that's more or less just kind of for aesthetics, but that way they can't see this as a path to try and get to you. Okay, and that's the basics of this base. Now all we have to do is just kind of set up the electricity portion of it here and then get it ready to work out. Now, what I will tell you that does make it work a little bit better is if you're able to go a little bit higher when it comes to how high you're going to have these here, like that. It didn't really matter what's up here at the top, and you have whatever block you want to. I just put those there because what you're going to be doing next is you're going to be getting yourself a motion sensor, aka a security camera. Wherever you put this doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's facing that direction. It's only going to either go on that side or that side because of the way it fits right in the middle of the block. It won't go in between the sides here. So put it in there facing that direction. No big deal. All right, so then what we need to do is we need to have a power source. You can use a generator if you want to. I'm just using a nice little generator bank. Makes life easy. Let's put a little fuel in there. We're good to go. And that's all we have to do with that. Now what we need to do is use our wire tool. Connect this to the motion sensor up top to make sure it has power. And then from the motion sensor, we're going to connect it to the automatic door down here so that you can see it's going from the generator to the motion camera down to the door. Okay, so then what you need to do is you need to turn on the generator, go under the motion sensor, and you're going to make sure that it's set to only target zombies because you don't want it targeting yourself. And use the power delay to be instant and triggered. That way, as soon as it catches the zombies, it opens the door, and as soon as the zombie's not there, it closes the door. And then what you want to do is click on the little preview window, and you're going to angle the camera so that it's like right next to the base, just like that, and then just back out of it. Now, what I'll do so you guys can see what I mean is I'm going to have it set to target myself. We'll go into God mode so I can fly around over here. Land, and then as soon as we start walking this way, it sees us and the door opens up and we take a nice little fall, and then the door closes again. Now, if you're building this base not super high, make sure that there is nothing that the zombies can stand on within a relative number of blocks underneath the door, because if the zombies get hung up right here and the door is open, the camera will still see them and the zombies won't, the door won't close again. So making this base really, really high is quite beneficial. All right, so then the next thing we need to do is, while we have it on the ladder here, is we're going to go ahead and just make it so the zombies can get up, obviously. We're just going to put a ladder on both sides up here. Now, this isn't going to work for any of the crawling any crawling animals, so wolves and bears and dogs and all those that want to try and get to you. They can't climb ladders, not on purpose anyway. So they're not going to be able to get to you, but we have a solution for that on their own. But that's pretty much it for how the base needs to work right at the moment. Now, we'll test it out, of course. All right, so I'm right there. I'm just moving the camera around so we can show you guys what this actually looks like. All right, let's get some of our lovely assistants over here. Let's get them all running and watch to see what they do. A couple of them are a little bit stupid. They came over and they're like, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. But as you can see, they are going towards the ladder itself. Let me get myself over here so they can see where I'm at. Later. That is something that's kind of cool too, is when they see this big gap here, some of them just try to make the jump and they just launch themselves off the side. So the doors sit here and do their thing. All right, let me move the camera around here and see where they're going here. All right, so we got them going in a loop here. They're going up the ladder. They run across, door opens. Some of them try to make the jump. It falls back down. And they fall and make a nice little splat. And again, like I said, sometimes the zombies will come over here and they decide they're going to try and just jump past everything. And then they just yeet themselves off the top. But that's it. That's the fall base right there. The trapdoor base. The automatic trapdoor base. And you can just sit up here and watch the zombies run around in circles. Now, of course, the zombies that we have here aren't very dangerous. They're not hard. I mean, Sylvia she's a force to be reckoned with. Don't get me wrong, of course. That's why she's our favorite. But it's not like she's puking on us or blowing up or doing any of that stuff here. So when we make this base a little bit more advanced, what we'll do is we'll prepare to be able to have the cops here. So then what you can do from the very top of this is you can kind of lay out your base however you want to while they're running in circles, not doing anything. You know, they're just taking damage. I'm going to build this up just a little bit here just to give me a little bit of shelter. It's not going to be pretty, but they're not going to be able to get to me anyway. Now, I would recommend, if you have the opportunity to put your generator in a spot where something can't puke at it. Like, I'm going to build these tiny little nooks on both sides here. Put your generator, like, right behind the block. And that way, direct line of sight puke is not going to hit it. You don't really have to worry about that too much. Right here in the middle, if somebody decided to puke on it or whatever like that, then it can hit it and break the generator. Then this falls apart. Now, you could, realistically, if you wanted to just bypass that entirely, what you could do is you could just set up a regular 3x2 door over there, a non-powered one. And then all you'd have to do is just wait for the zombies to line up right there and just manually open the door, then manually close it. Because you can access this. It'll say press E to open, close. You can press it, open them up, drop them down there, and then you press it to close again. So you can do it manually if you don't have power. This works whether you have power or not. I'm just doing it this way because it's fun. I like it. All right, we're going to do it like this. Cover the top up here just so the birds can't get to us. Now, I know you may be thinking to yourself, like, well, Cap, how in the hell do you get up here? Well, let me kill all the zombies here. Later, Sylvia. So then what you could do is you could march your happy butt over here. Actually, I'm going to go back over here like this. And I need to turn off the motion sensor so I don't actually die. So just walk yourself along the pole because you can step on it. Put a block over here. Jump over here, and you're good. And then just pick this up. Of course, if you want to, put a door over here, make a ladder going down, put a hatch on the top of it here. I'm just demonstrating the base itself. But from here, all you have to do is just hide behind this little corner here. As long as you're on the base, the zombies will keep coming towards you. Now, something to keep in mind, and go back and detach the camera, is from where I'm standing, I'm right on top of the pillar. So the game sees me as a straight line down here. If you build the base so that it extends out too far around here and you're kind of over the top of the gap and there's nothing underneath you, sometimes the zombies will be running over and they'll think the shortest path to you is to go this way. They can't access you going straight up, and so they just start pounding on the wall. So I would recommend, if you're going to build like this, make sure that where you're standing is a solid structure all the way down to the ground. Okay, we could do this against most regular-sized zombie hordes, and it would do just fine. You saw what we were doing over here. We put some lights and stuff over here. But what we need to do is we need to make it accessible for all the other idiots here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build myself a little bit of a ramp. We're just going to use the regular old ramp block here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a path for the zombies to be able to get to from the ground here. We're going to make it just a nice, simple ramp. Regular zombies will run up this as well, so it's not, it's not animal exclusive or whatever, but And also, I would highly recommend building this out of concrete. I'm building this out of these wood blocks because A, it's what I have in my inventory, and B, it works pretty simple without having to switch back and forth. But if you're going to do this, I would definitely recommend building it out of concrete, just so the zombies don't do stupid things and break it. Now, the normal building structural stability works here too. So what you're going to do is you're not going to go out more than about 7 blocks. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now from here, I'm just going to turn and go the other direction, like that. So then we'll start going down to the ground from that way. But what I need to do is probably go ahead and build from the ground up. Highly recommend that if you're building something that can have some really wonky structural support, start at the ground and build your way up instead of starting at the top, because it'll collapse on top of you. And while that can be kind of funny, you definitely don't want the whole thing falling apart on you. So let's get the rest of this built out over here. And there we have it. Now the zombies can just run straight up this direction. No problem at all. Take their sweet precious time getting up here, or they can go up the ladder, but this will allow the dogs, the bears, the wolves, pretty much any other thing that wants to come up this way to go over here. And this door is big enough so that all the animals can fall through. And I did turn the motion sensor back off so it's not targeting me. Let me move, actually, hang on, let me move inside here. And what we'll do is I'm just going to go set myself right here so I'm out of the way. We'll go back in to move the camera mode here, and what we'll do is we'll come down and we'll spawn in. Let's see, let's get a couple of the animals out here. Let's see what they do. So zombie bear, we need to get a zombie bear, not a regular bear, because they just attack each other. See, we'll get a bunch of dogs, zombie bear, and let me see, how about a feral Frank? We get some of the big guys here. Okay, now you gotta come over this direction here. Fire our gun to get them going this direction. Come on, Frank, let's see what you got. Later! Alright, so Frank falls through just fine. He's a big guy. Okay, let me kind of duck this way just a smidge. Move the camera back around and see where the animals are. Alright, so you are going to go straight into destroy mode. Again, like I said, sometimes the zombies will go into destroy mode. Let's see if they are. Even though they're not. So that right at the moment they're on blocked, can break, and unreachable. Because right at the moment they're just like, I don't know what to do. But they're not in destroy mode. They're just in break block mode, you see. So they'll come over here, they'll do their thing because they're unreachable above right at the moment. Let me make sure that I'm in the middle of the column here. Come over this direction, you buffoons. Now, I don't know where the dogs and the bear went. Hold on, looks like they're right over that way. Let's go back over here and see if we can't wake them up. Hey, come here. There we go. Kind of wake some of you guys up. Now, the bears themselves, they really don't give a crap about pathing too much. They will, but that's not their priority. Every time I've ever done this, the bears will come over and they attack other zombies. They have a big thing over here against the wall. But you can see right at the moment, see, it's can break, but they're not in destroy mode. So they just approach the spot. They can't get to me, so they can go into break mode. But it's not that big a deal. Oh, but see, now the dog's going up there. Let's see, now the bear's going up there. So any kind of drop base you have, zombies are going to have a chance to go into destroy mode, regardless of how high they go. Whee! That's just the way the game works out here. They've made it so that doing drop bases are a little bit harder, but this works. All right, let's get ourselves a plethora. Let's get just a chunk of those. Come on, ladies. All right, we'll see the bear coming back around, so he'll run up here and do his thing, and then he disappears. Sylvia comes over and just says nope and jumps off the side of the building. Let's go back over here a little bit. So Frank's trying to climb up underneath Sylvia, and she's not a big fan of it. Let's see, Bear's going to make his way back up here again. And then he's going to just fall back through again. Yep, it's working just like it's supposed to. Zombies are taking a nice little hit. And yeah, like I said, sometimes they go into destroy mode and they'll run into stupid things over here. But I don't know. There's not a way to guarantee they don't do that. Because he's just under break block mode. He's not under destroy mode. Because he's fallen high enough, he's not doing that. That's just how some of the zombies work out. So definitely make sure your base is well reinforced. The bear's just like, I'm tired of falling, it hurts. Hey, you. There we go. Stop doing your thing here. And some of the Sylvias just want to jump off to the side. And this is working like gangbusters. You can just kind of sit here and watch them take some fall damage for a while. Okay, so what I think we ought to do now is just fire it up against a small little Horde Night just to kind of see how well it does. Here, we get some of the big guys up in here besides the bear. So let's just kind of see how well it works out. We'll get a couple of these idiots in here. I didn't even repair the base down there. I'm confident enough in what these guys are doing here Shoot you right in the leg, just kind of get you over here. Again, they don't like these pole blocks, these around here, so they're going to do everything they can to try and figure out how to get around them. But half the time that just means them jumping, which is totally fine because then they just plummet right back down the hole. Now, the downside of having a fall base like this, because this is basically an AFK base, I can just kind of set myself to the side so I don't get puked on, is that you don't get any experience for any of the kills. So, if you're going to build a fall base, they're fun, and of course, it makes it a lot easier to manage a Horde Night, but you don't get any experience for the kills at all, because they just fall, they hit the ground. Eventually, they'll fall enough times they die, but you don't get any experience for it, because you're not doing anything. You're just watching them plummet. So if you wanted to grab yourself a spear, or a bow and arrow, or even just a pistol, and, you know, shoot off a couple of them, if this kind of helps you kind of weed it out a little bit, then you get the occasional fall, or you get the occasional kill. But that's really about it. Let's have a look at it here. Okay, so he's going to town on this one over here. They decided to punch that block a little bit. Some more zombies just hitting the ground. But, you know, like I said, every once in a while they get a little pissy and they decide to want to hit one block, and then they decide, you know what, I'm kind of tired of that. I'm going to go back up here and go down this ride. They get all excited about it. So yeah, they will beat on the tower that you're connected to. That's how the zombies work. But other than that, back 99% of them will just take the fall. And you can just kind of sit up there and watch them. And it makes for a nice little, it's like a mouse trap. The old game here where you just start them off and they go back through and then just take a whole bunch of damage and fall. Or they hit each other. But again, I'd recommend doing everything in concrete if you can, or not steel. If not steel, just because when they do decide to go all stupid and punch things, it doesn't collapse. And by having 2 sets of ladders and the ramp here, then there's more options for them to go. So, what do you guys think? What kind of ideas would you do to add to this? Because again, this is bare bones base level. This is working here. You can always add electrical things to this, add a turret to it to help shoot some of them here, put some spikes around it, extend the base a little bit, do whatever you want to. This was just a base level. And again, sometimes if the zombies are being stupid and they don't know what to do, just shoot them once or twice and they're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be going after him. Shoot you right in the knee and then watch you just plummet down here. Fantastic. This is working absolutely wonderful. So, you can just kind of sit here. Now, if the cop shows up and decides to want to puke to the side, just scooch over here. When he pops up, go rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And you're good to go. This works lovely. I love these kinds of bases. They're just kind of fun. Kind of give you a little bit of a reprieve from the Horde Nights instead of just wasting a ton of ammo. So, there you have it, guys. What do you think? If you think it's pretty cool, you like it, leave a like on the video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and click the little bell so you get notified when videos go live. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.